So anyways, sorry for doing that. If that, you know, made this harder for you guys. Now you know what we're about, or gonna try and be about a little bit more. A couple weeks ago, I posted this picture on our Facebook group, and then I like almost instantly regretted it. And I wanted to share that story with you guys today. So someone left a comment on Facebook somewhere. I don't even remember what the context is.
First of all, her name's Cammie. You guys are absolutely horrid parents. I'm complete and utterly disgusted. Smoking, swearing, sex, abusing. You're being reposted to CPS immediately. I'm disgusted by you, complete and utterly disgusted. You're being reported immediately.
So I like looked up this girl on Facebook. It's like this teenage, I think kind of like religious, poor girl that, you know, she was young. But I saw this quote, or her comment, and I just like love this stuff. We get some legit criticism, but this is so extreme that it just makes for really good content. You know, it's kind of like, what do they call that in debate? Like the straw man thing.
Like it's so extreme that it's easy to just poke holes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's making fun of smoking, swearing, sex, and abusing. Her argument, from my perspective, it doesn't really make sense to me. So, I posted this on our Facebook page for Fight for Together. And just I didn't say anything, I don't think. I just like stuck the picture there. And as you can imagine, our Facebook crowd kind of went nuts over it for us. So it says it reached 2,408 people, had 1,400 engagements, 84 reactions, and 47 comments. And of course, people are just kind of mocking her logic and stance, which is like exactly what I expected would happen. Mm-hmm. Which is, because she's positioned herself as being against us, it feels kind of good to do that at first. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, okay, you're against us, we're gonna be against you with logic. But that wasn't it. I took it a step further, and we have this like private Fight for Together discussion group. I really liked this comment, so I was like, I'm just gonna make it the cover page. What better to rally around than that? And I was actually, the one I replaced was also kind of funny, the previous comment, because it was this other one that said, people like you give real Christians a bad name, shameful, which I felt was like kind of up there too. Once again, a bunch of people kind of like reacted, and I think got some energy off of it. But kind of the same thing, like right away, I instantly had some regret for doing this, because I think it conflicts with what we really want to do with our channel and the way we really want to function and what we really want to share with people.
And even how I want to be as a human being.
When I was in the business world, there was this book that was like kind of going around and being pushed, and it was called Primal Branding. And it said there's 7 things that every good brand needs to have to be the most successful or to develop this cult following. And number 6 was anti-believers, or they called them pagans or non-believers. It was this like us and them language. It was whoever the them was. You know, if you're Pepsi, this is the Coke, or if you're Coke, this is the Pepsi.
Yeah.
And it said for every belief system, there's a group of anti-believers. You know, for Mac users or PC, Republicans or Democrats. It identifies who and what the brand is or is not. It can also give you a good idea of the direction you want to take your brand or which directions to avoid. This was kind of like my way of doing that. I'm like, okay, hey, we all that are in this fight for together world, we care about openness and risk and, you know, not being closed-minded. And here's this person that is like the opposite of everything we stand for. So let's like put that on a pedestal and kind of like throw the rotten tomatoes at it, I guess. Yeah. And that happened. And it feels good because in a way, like with this primal branding book, it does develop this core identity by pointing at these people and saying, we're us and they're them, and we're not them and they're not us. And it's like, it's kind of like a quick fix, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Feel free to chime in anytime if you have something to say. But this is what we've come to believe that I am more excited about to share here. A lot of these types of beliefs can be used really strongly in the religious community. And I want to share this reading that Cami actually emailed to me recently that was from an email that Richard Rohr sent out. And it said, French philosopher and historian René Girard recognized this highly effective ritual across cultures and saw the scapegoat mechanism, so that's what they're calling the scapegoating, as a foundational principle for most social groups. Now, if you don't know much about scapegoating, it's obviously like a literary technique that we like refer to a lot, but in ancient biblical culture, it was actually literal. Like they would take a goat and they would, I forget what exactly they would do to it, whether they like beat the hell out of it or they'd put something on it.
Beat it so that it would like go away from them.
Well, then they would send it off.
Yeah.
But they would do something to it first, and then they would send it away.
Yeah. And
the visualization was, we're putting our sin on this animal, and this sin is like going away, like it's this external thing. The image of the scapegoat powerfully mirrors and reveals the universal but largely unconscious human need to transfer our guilt onto something or someone else by singling that other out for unmerited negative treatment. This idea is basically that this like casting out or identifying as you're the problem. You know, you are the issue. I'm not the issue, and we're different. Mm-hmm. Was I feel like what this person was doing to us. They were saying, you guys are the problem. Your issues with CPS, you're smoking. And while I think those specific examples are ridiculous, the very fact that she was pointing to us and saying you're the problem, that's actually the bigger issue that I believe is the problem with the world, is this like pointing outward and judging others.
Or just blaming someone else instead of yourself.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And in that way, by reposting this thing on this internet platform that I know it's just like, I mean, this is the low-hanging fruit, you guys. Like, it's so easy to develop this, like, we could do this all day long. Like, go to these parenting groups of these, like, closed-minded religious people or, like, terrified people and post their stuff. And just people could, like, kind of make fun of them. And we could develop an entire community around that. It'd be very easy. And in a way, we would be right, maybe. Like, our ideas could be better. Like, maybe our parenting ideas or methods are more free or mature.
But we're just perpetuating the problem, which is the problem being that humans are always, we're blaming each other and we're scapegoating each other instead of owning our own stuff.
And separating each other.
And we're separating and isolating each other.
And that, to me, is actually the much deeper problem of what I would love to address with this channel. But it's really hard to do. Because this is, like I said, this is such an easy mechanism to develop a cult-like following. You know, Mac was like, they'd make fun of PC, and PC would make fun of Mac.
And I think it's much easier to even get a cult-like following for us and to have more followers and more likes and to feel like, oh, we're good or we're better and everyone's following us. But by actually believing something deeper than that and believing something, in my opinion, like better than that, it actually does diminish, I think, like our Fight for Together channel. And I actually think that's good, but it's hard. There's just this mindset, I mean, the Primal Branding book, where it's like, well, if you want to be bigger, better, faster, stronger, like you gotta scapegoat. You gotta do this stuff. By us not, I mean, trying not to.
It's hard.
It's hard, and it doesn't feel like it. In the short run, it feels like we're doing something wrong. Like we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. But in the long run, I believe it's actually a better way to treat human beings, and it's a better way to live.
And I grew up with this definition of love that was like super sacrificial. It was like, oh, love is I am like laying down my preferences and my life for yours and chopping off my right arm and doing this hard thing for you. Even if I hate it, like I'm still making this choice and like gritting my teeth. I don't really find that definition of love helpful anymore, and I think I have something that has replaced it for me that's better, which I heard, which is love is seeing yourself in the other. Which actually makes sense in light of the commandment, I guess it's one of the 10 commandments, or it's one of the things Jesus said a lot, which is to love others as yourself. You know, so if you're taking care of yourself, and if you're seeing yourself in the other, you automatically have this like kind of empathy for the other person. So instead of just taking it at face value, these things that Cami, not you, but this commenter is saying, I think with not too much work, well, it's unnatural, but it doesn't take a whole lot of mental energy. We could look at her comment and try and look at the things that we have in common, like seeing me in her, seeing myself in the other. You know, we're making this channel because we want to make the world a better place. My guess is if we were to talk to this girl, like she's trying to make the world a better place too, in the best way that she knows how. And we're trying to be bold and share our beliefs. Mm-hmm. And she's stepping forward and probably having courage and being bold in her beliefs. Now, I don't have to agree with how she's doing it, and none of you have to agree with how we're doing it. But when we're able to make that one step, instead of just jumping on the ways that we're all different, there's always ways that we can find that.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna actually truly love the world or others or each other, even in this marriage, you know, it has to start with the more difficult task, I think.
Yeah.
Of, you know, looking for the ways that we're the same.
Yeah, and one of the ways I know I'm the same as her is I've done this. Like, I've looked at someone and just made this quick snap judgment and thought they were the worst or just not as good as I was. So I really am no different than she is in that way. Another way you guys are no different is that you have the same name, Tammy. Yeah, but she spells it differently. So we are different. Way to focus on the differences. I want to leave you guys with this quote that has been really helpful for me from Richard Rohr. We actually have it on our chalkboard in our wall. And it says this: the best criticism of the bad is the practice of the better. And what that says to me is, you know, we're trying to lead the way with our YouTube channel of just showing people what's possible for another way to live family. And it'd be real easy to do that by shitting on all these people that we consider aren't doing it up to snuff. We could make fun of public school, we could make fun of helicopter parents, we could make fun of religious folks, or people in other countries. I mean, there's so many people to make fun of. But actually, I believe that at the end of the day, they're all kind of trying to do the same thing we are. And the best thing we can do for this channel and for this world is just believe what we believe as best we can. And just live your life. And believe that we don't, for us to be wrong, or for us to be right, they don't have to be wrong. Like, actually we can both be right. Like, this Cami person, with her story and her background and where she's coming from, maybe this is like a step of progress for her to leave a comment like this, and she's actually growing in her world. Yeah.
And I'm growing in my world. So anyways, sorry for doing that. If that, you know, made this harder for you guys. Now you know what we're about, or gonna try and be about a little bit more. So I'm gonna delete these, this picture from the Fight for Together Facebook page. And maybe I'll replace it with this Richard Rohr comment. Date night.
Let's go.
Plus Wednesday night. All right. See you guys
Yeah.
tomorrow.